And so it's time for 20 minutes of racing here in the Sports 2000 Championship as we get to a delightfully sunny Silverstone. It mustn't be like this all day. It's decided to start getting a little bit warmer out there on circuit and certainly slightly less wet. Of course, we'll be seeing a whole host of drivers and cars taking to the circuit, 34 in total here at the Silverstone National Circuit. I'm Lewis McGlade. I'll be talking you through this 25-minute race and talking you through the grid as well, because Joshua Law has already grabbed the pole position a little bit earlier on in the day with Michael Gibbons alongside on that front row in the number one car. Paul Traherne will start from third position with Richard Johnson starting from fourth position. I said there was 34 cars, so there's a lot more still to go with James Barwell, Ben Cater and then Timothy Tudor with Roger Donnan starting from 8th position. The final positions inside the top 10 is Ashley Law and then David Houghton before we get to Colin Peach outside of the top 10 and Stephen O just in 12th position. Peter Williams and then Joshua Needham will be starting from 14th position with Grant Gibson and John Owen in 16th position. Then we'll get the number 14 car, two ridges in that one, and then we'll get John Eiley in 18th position. Of course, Andrew Butler and then Rolo Tomasi rounding out the top 20 and the first category. Then back down into 21st position where we see Nick Johnson and then Shiver, who'll be starting in the 26th position on the grid. Then we'll get Nowro and Aldworth starting back there, which will be row 14 once we actually get into the race. Patrick Clifton, Mike Fry, Andreas Floth and Clive Steeper will be starting there with Peter Needham as well. Richard Cook back down the order and Paul Stevenson on the final row of the grid. Again, it's as I've seen throughout a couple of times today where we've basically got two cars that will be alongside each other on one row, not staggered in their position, so it's not one row is one car and then the kind of basically the next position back is effectively back from that car and then offset. They're both at the same position on the circuit, just offset from each other left to right, as you can see here from above. Michael Gibbons there in the number one car, probably aiming for a good start. The lap times around here really quite fast, 57 seconds to get around this circuit for them. Obviously very, very fast indeed. The first of the categories, and then you'll see a bit of a break in the background. That is courtesy of the Duratec cars. Those are classes Duratec A, DB, as well as Duratec B. And then we'll have the historics that will be starting in those categories a little bit further down. I've got all the dates and stuff, but I'll deal with that later on if the race is quiet. And somehow with 34 cars on the grid, I don't think it's going to be a quiet one. There's going to be a lot of screaming happening around the Silverstone National Circuit. And probably some pretty tight racing indeed. As you can see, it's 25 minutes. The marshals are getting the final few cars into position there on the final couple of rows with Richard Cook, Pete Needham, and of course Paul Stevenson right at the back end of the field into position. You'll see the green flag being waved from the marshal right at the rear to allow the starter on the gantry to get things going, making sure that everything's set and in position for the first race here at the Silverstone weekend. Silverstone National for the Sports 2000. We're about ready to go underway. Then the 5-second board's been held aloft. The lights are about to come on and we will be racing down towards Copse, the first corner, and we are underway. So Michael Gibbons on the front row trying to get past Joshua Law by the time we get down towards turn one, and that number one car has got alongside by the time they've got down into that first corner. But will he be able to pass by the time they exit the first corner? I think the answer to that question is yes. The number one is now ahead of the 91. So Joshua Law from pole position dropped back down now into second place. He tries to go around the outside as we head back out towards the Wellington Straight, using all the downforce on the inside. Goes the number one of Michael Gibbons. So up to the race lead from second position. Did see a car going out wide. I think that might have been Ben Cater going out just a touch wide as they were running out onto the Wellington Straight, and now down into Brooklyn. Some big looks down the inside. That's the number 40 of Timothy Tudor trying to make a move down the inside by the time they've got into Brooklyn's corner. Has he completed the move? Yes, he has. Up to about 6th or 7th position at the moment goes Timothy Tudor as they try and work their way back to single file and then back out onto the starting straight to complete a lap. That's it. Already over 50 seconds down in the race. Lap already complete and into the books. It's Gibbons leading from Law, from Johnson, from Traherne, from Cater, from Barwell, then Tudor and Donnan with Horton and Peach rounding out the top 10. So I actually think it was Tudor getting back past Donnan to retake take over 7th position there into Brooklands with a pretty brash pass, it must be said. There's your race leaders, and to be fair, I've got to say the number 21 of Richard Johnson is knocking at the door for the top 2 positions at the moment. It did seem as though even on that first lap that the top 2 would check away, but they've already been closed in on quite comfortably by Johnson. Bit of a lock up there from your race leader Gibbons as well. Into the pit lane, by the way, has come one of our Duratec A cars. That is Butler in the number 9. So Andrew Butler back into the pit lane. Unfortunately, right at the start of this race. Did start from 19th in class on the 10th row of the grid, but unfortunately the race already brings him back into pit lane. There's the number 40 of Timothy Tudor trying to make a move. Currently sat in 7th position at the moment, looking to the inside as they were going down towards turn 1 on Barwell, but couldn't quite find a move down the inside of James Barwell in the battle for 6th position. Obviously that distinctive yellow number 40. Just looking to try and make some progress after losing a little bit of ground early on, but instantly finding it back. I mean, look, you're not going to miss that one looking down the inside of your mirrors as it tries to make some progress. But at the moment, the 77 Duratec A car of Barwell currently holding on to 6th position overall in this race. It would technically be 5th within the Duratec A category, but it's more split the Duratec category versus the historic category rather than the individual little categories inside all of it. You can see all the colours there on the tower. The yellow one is the Duratec DB. That is about a driver who is 60 and above since the start of this season. So obviously, again, anyone can race in this championship, clearly. And we're seeing that here as down the inside goes Tudor on Barwell, down the inside at Cops. That's aggressive move as he's trying to make it stick. I'm not sure if Tudor was able to make that one. He kind of has looked down the inside. Exactly that. Looked down the inside a couple of times today so far in this race and hasn't fully committed to a move. Now, whilst that can be handy to get the other driver offline, obviously it can be not fully committing to a move can be slightly problematic there for the number 40, but thankfully on this occasion it works out fine. Of course, again, this is club racing, so you don't want to chuck it down the inside too aggressively as they head their way down. Oh, going out wide there. Not sure who that was. I think it was someone going a lap down. Certainly was one of our historic cars going a lap down as Gibbons was able to get past. Law still sat directly behind. Johnson's dropped off quite a touch at the moment as they were able to work their way past Stevenson in the 75. Just so you know, the leader in the historics, as far as I'm aware, is Weller in the number 37. So there is that 37 car right at the head of the historics category as everything's getting a little bit tricky as we're all tripping up over each other, trying to get past some of that lap traffic working down into the Maggots complex as we then head back out onto the Wellington Straight. So the number 40 of Tudor has got past Barwell now. Maybe setting sights on a potential podium's probably a little bit out of reach. I think Johnson's probably already a little bit too far down the road, but maybe getting past Traherne at the moment in that 4th position could be the main target here for the number 40 of Tudor, who's showing some good speed in the early stages of this race. The next one for him to check off is that actually of Traherne, who's dropped back then behind Cater. So Traherne there in the 71 blue and white car, just about to be passed potentially here by Tudor, who's got to the outside as they race their way down towards Cops. I mean, I wouldn't leave it down the inside. He's going to give it a go though, is Traherne, but drops out of it just a touch. Going out wide goes Tudor, but up into the top 5 goes the number 40 car. So already progress being made. And Barwell, I'm sure, will be knocking at the door pretty soon. You've got Donnan as well, who might be closing in. Obviously, the battle for the Duratec DB classification, those yellow marks on the timing tower. There is a battle for the victory potentially up for grabs for Donnan if he can catch up to the rear end of Traherne. So you've got a few positions to work. That's Donnan in the green and red car. You can see just coming through shot there. So that one, the number 34, is the one that's potentially trying to get up into the Duratec DB lead. Obviously does have Horton right over the rear end in that number 8 machine that we're looking at now, potentially trying to go for the position, but everyone's finding it single file. Of course, the speeds being so high in this category, it's sometimes a little bit hard to pass around the Silverstone National Circuit. It is such a short lap at the best of times. There's a bit of a look down the inside. I think that might have been for 12th position as O was dropping back into the clutches of Williams. Williams is in that yellow and blue car, and then the white and black one right here. That is the number 50 there of Stephen O, who's almost been passed just a touch. Hand up from the 75 car. That was Stevenson, who went a lap down earlier on. I think there's a technical issue, so basically just saying, I'm coming back into pit lane, lads, just go round me, as unfortunately Stevenson will work his way back into the pit lane. There comes a look down the inside once more from Williams, trying to get past Stephen O, but can't quite do it just there. Number 50 able to hang firm and hang on for now after losing out a position to the number 73 of Ashley Law, up then into 11th spot. Did just hit into pit lane, so Stevenson has worked his way back into pit lane to have that car hopefully sorted out. Once again, Williams really close in that battle at the moment, trying to get through into 12th position, which would be third in class of the Duratec DB classification. Again, those that are highest up in the historics at the moment, it is still, I believe, the number 62. Which is the head of the historic category. Oh no, sorry, it's still the 37. It's still Weller in the 37, and then Johnson behind in the number 62. So those two basically the battle in the historics. Back up though to the battle for 8th position, as we do have Donnan here still hanging on from Horton at the moment, and Donnan obviously eyes focused on maybe trying to catch Traherne, but still got to hold the position that you're currently in, and Traherne maybe a little bit out of reach, just a touch, as obviously he needs to get past Barwell and then Traherne itself for the DB classification. But right now things are being settled in that fight as things are starting to space out here at Silverstone. It's Gibbons leading from the number 91 of Joshua Law, then Johnson, then Cater, then Tudor, then Traherne, then Barwell, then Donnan, then Houghton, and then Peach, still at the back end of the top 10 in that 117 car. Just on the cusp of moving forward, but about 3 seconds now off the rear end of Horton, who we've been looking at. These are some of the historic cars that we've got. The number 16 here battling at the moment for 27th position overall. The 82 there not for position as far as I am aware. No, certainly not. That's Cater working his way through. So again, the lap traffic causing us problems as you would expect, but they're all involved in their own little battles further down in the historics. Did just see a switch of position between Needham and Clifton for 24th and 25th position overall. So still, like I say, plenty of fights up and down the order. This is the 79 at the moment. There's Floth holding on from Cook. That is 27th position. So this is right the way down the back end of the field, and yet still the battling's great. That's what's good about club racing. That's what's good about multi-class racing. Is you're always going to find yourself a battle. That was Steeper currently running at the moment in last position, courtesy of Stevenson and Butler both being in the pit lane. They're coming through the lap traffic as the 71 of Traherne in that silver and blue car. The 77 in the slightly more silvery car, a bit more black on it. That one is Barwell, and then Donnan behind that in the green and red, just trying to get past the number 16 at the moment of Cook and work their way through on the lap traffic and focus board. You can see the difference in category. I mean, look. Obviously, engine with the Duratec category will be giving out a lot more brake horsepower, fair enough. But also downforce, there's a lot more wings happening in those Duratec cars. And again, they're newer. I think the historics there, 1987 and back. Basically, so they're old. They're older than me. So, and I'm getting old now. So yeah, it's fine. It is what it is. Obviously, yes. Some of those the historic cars are getting on a bit. I think even the historic C class, which you don't have too many of, I think they're 19. If I remember correctly, they're 1983 and earlier. So. Yeah, I mean, look, they're getting on a bit, but they're racing well. That's the important bit, those cars. Here we go then, focused back on the battle for 4th position as things have been closed up. Tudor has closed right in on Cater once more, and the number 82 of Ben Cater is starting to feel the pressure at the moment as they race their way down towards turn 1 at Copse, because Tudor's pace in the opening stages has been really nice, really solid, and has helped him move forward, has Timothy Tudor. And again, the aspirations of the potential podium might have slipped through the fingers now, but the potential of at least a top 4, well, they're right there. And I think this battle is probably kind of one of those ones that's going to go down to the end of the race. Out wide, though, goes Cater, just touching the grass there with his left wheels. As you can see there in the foreground, a shot. That is Johnson, the next car down the road for them to battle if at all possible. But at the moment, things seem pretty stable within the tops of the Duratec category, with Gibbons still leading by 1.6 seconds. That gap is holding at 1.6 seconds, and they're both Gibbons and Law at the front of the field are both doing very similar lap times at the moment. They are comfortably clear of the rest of the field. 9.6 seconds clear of Johnson is Law. So, 11 seconds clear of is the race leader from third position. Just shows how strong they are. But then again, things can fall apart very, very quickly in a race like this when there's 34 cars, or at least at the moment 32 cars, taken to a very short circuit that only takes 57 seconds to navigate. As still, the 82 there of Cater is able to hang on at the moment from Tudor. They've pulled comfortably clear of Traherne as well in all of this. The Traherne-Barwell-Donnan battle, which I thought was going to be getting really, really tight, has spread out ever so slightly. The number 8, though, of Horton has closed in quite a lot on Donnan. Over the previous lap across the line, they were separated by just 0.2 of a second in the battle for 8th position. This is the highest placed battle at the moment in that battle for 4th at the moment between the 82 and the 40. And obviously that is 4th position not only overall, but obviously in category. No one else ahead of them. Traherne did qualify quite well, but has kind of dropped back a little bit through the clutches. That might have been a poor line through T1 there from the 82 there of Ben Cater. And Timothy Tudor is going to be very close to going for a move as they work their way down towards Beckett. It's got a bit of back markerage to navigate as they try and head through. It's the 57 car of Simon Aldworth. They're going to get past and straight back out then onto the Wellington straight. This could be the best opportunity yet for Tudor to potentially make a move as they drag their way down towards Brooklands. There is the look to the inside. Timothy Tudor going for the move for 4th position, trying to send it, goes a little bit deep as there's a bit of a lock-up. And with a bit of argy-bargy, finds his way going past and up into 4th position. So Timothy Tudor now into 4th. Ben Cater dropped down to 5th with a fairly aggressive move. Did say it looked like it was going to be the best opportunity. Ben Cater a little bit easy going through Cots on the previous lap, and kind of allowed the distinctive yellow and black car to get closer and closer and closer, and then eventually pounced and went for the move. I was going to say I could hear something in pit lane. I didn't know if it was Stevenson going back into the pit lane, but I'm not 100% sure. Might well have been Floth back or into the pit lane as well. Not 100% sure. I'll update you on that one in just a bit. As we can see it, back up to Traherne and Barwell. I did say they were getting quite close. They are indeed closing in. Traherne feeling the pressure from Barwell just a touch. It's the battle behind that though between Donnan and Holton, which is really close. The 34 versus the 8 for 8th position. That's where things are extremely tight, as you can see. Now trying to get past the back markers. That one again, Simon Aldworth in that yellow and black 57 car, just going out wide there as they exit Luffield, and the 77 of Barwell finally able to get through, but I think that's actually cost him a fair amount of time. That gap looking now like it might be around 2 seconds at present. There you can see across the line the tight battle for 8th position as Donnan and Horton very close indeed. I think Donnan might have been able to still hold on from Horton. Horton's kind of close, but unable to really do anything about that one in the 34 and in the 8. So those two separated just by 0.2 of a second. There is your driver running in 3rd position at the moment. Was Johnson, just coming through the foreground of shot. This is the number 14 of Ridge, which currently is running a little bit further down the order than where they would want. Actually, can't see it on my timing at the moment, but they're running a little bit further down, must be said. Kind of not quite got the speed of that top contingent, running now a lap or so down, 20th overall. One of the ones in the Duratec A category, but not quite got the pace and consistency of those running up the order. That black and green car there, that was the one I've been talking about. That was Donnan, who's now dropped back behind. I think there's been a switch between Horton and Donnan this time by. So the 34 of Donnan now dropped down into 9th position. The number 8 of David Horton has now moved up into the 8th position. So there has been a little bit of progress there made by that black and white car. And I do wonder if there's going to be any potential of closing the now 4-second chasm all the way up to the 77 and the 71 up ahead. There is potential for it, but we'll have to wait and see. Do also have the number 73 of Ashley Law closing in on that fight as well. That's the more white and black car, I believe, just trying to close up and knock at the door of the 34 here of Donnan. But there's about 1.5 seconds now between Law and Donnan. Back out onto the start-finish straight to complete the 17th lap of this race already. 8 minutes still left to go. Still plenty of time to deal with. I will correct myself. I said it was the white and black car. That, of course, is not Law. Ashley Law is in a black car. The one that I was looking at there was Steve O. But Ashley Law is a little bit higher up than that. That is Steve O there, I believe, in the number 50 car, that white and black car, white, black and orange, that's currently sat in 11th position just outside of the top 10. There is the 45 that belongs to Peter Needham, currently running down the order in 23rd position. I'll remind you of the order at the moment. It's Gibbons from the number 91 of Joshua Law. Then it's Johnson, then it's Timothy Tudor, then Cater, then Traherne, then Barwell, then Horton, then Donnan, and then Ashley Law, the top 10 at the moment overall. Then we've got Steve-O, then we've got Peach, then we've got Williams, then Needham, who I was just talking about there, before we get to Owen, Gibson, Eiley as well in the 17 cars of the Duratec field that are ahead of the Historics. That has seen the switch for the race lead, by the way, in the Historics. The 62 of Johnson is now the leader in the Historics, so Weller has dropped back now to second in the Historics. Then we get Ridge, the last of the Duratec cars. There's a bit of a look down the inside there. Again, just traffic management trying to be sorted here, which is again not the easiest thing to deal with around Silverstone National. I've raced some pretty hard circuits for traffic management. This would be right up there when it comes to the difficulty of managing the traffic, and a bit of a slow exit there from the 88. Potentially was going to open the door there for a bit of a move there from Needham, but Williams there in the 88, who was only a couple of tenths behind Peach at the start-finish line, and now sees a little bit more progress requiring to be made. You can see there Peach in the the slightly more orange / peach car just up ahead. Big bit of smoke coming off the rear end of the number 33 of Fry, as Fry is able to just about hang on from the number 45, a different Needham. That one is Peter Needham in the 45. That could be going for a move down the inside in that dark blue car. I think that'll be an easy move for the 45 by the time they get down towards turn 1 at Copse. And so Peter Needham will be working his way through and thus moving up into 22nd overall. The other Needham is the number 25, which is Joshua Needham, trying to close back in on this fight, where you've got the 88 there of Peter Williams at the moment. We've got a bit of an issue here for the number 79 at Brooklands. The 79 is Andreas Floth, who's had a couple of moments there, has dropped right the way down the order and has just about got back going again a little bit further down. So thankfully that car is rolling as we head back to Donnan, and of course Ashley Law, 9th and 10th position overall in the race. With Ashley Law closing in. 5 minutes left to go in the race, and Ashley Law knocking at the back of the door of Donnan to move up the order. Donnan not quite had to speed. Certainly seemed like was quick at the start of the race, but has faded a little bit as the race has gone on. Speaking of fading just a touch towards the front, Joshua Law has faded a little bit off the battle for the race lead from Gibbons. Did just hear Floth has been into pit lane, heard that car roll past, so Andreas Floth into the pit lane now after that spin right here into Brookland, which has caused its fair share of problems throughout the day. There's the big look to the inside. That might be a little bit too deep for Law, but no, it is not. Perfectly held, and the number 73 of Ashley Law gets past Horton now, and now up into 9th position in the number 73. The 34, Donnan now dropped back. Roger Donnan now dropped back into that position. Is there a bit of a slow exit there? Was that Horton that was going very slow? It's the number 14. No, that's the Ridge car that's gone a lap down now. So that's fine. That's settled. It was just Ridge going one further lap down on this group. Not quite had the speed of the rest of the contingent. Oh my goodness, that's such a big look to the inside from the 34 of Donnan. Was trying to send one straight back through, but couldn't quite manage to find that pass. So Ashley Law is hanging on for 9th position at the moment, but it does seem as though Donnan's not done. There is going to be more left to be said before the end of the race in 3 minutes and 20 seconds time, as they'll probably continue this fight. But now that kind of warning shot might be a little bit towards Law to think, right, I actually need to get on with this now. Eyes focused on the road ahead, and that is all. Fastest lap, by the way, has just come in on the previous lap, not from Gibbons, our race leader, but from Joshua Law in 2nd position. I said was maybe starting to fade. How wrong was I? A 57.4. That was 1 second faster than Gibbons, your race leader. Could Joshua Law be able to close all the way back up to the number 1 car of Gibbons and maybe fight for the race lead over the last couple of laps? We'll update you on it as we come through. It could have just been, obviously, just a very good lap. Now that I think that has been a little bit confirmed, because the previous lap it was a second in advantage for Gibbons. So whilst one lap they close down a second, the next lap you lose it, and suddenly the chance of going for a race victory seemed to be slipping through your fingers. With the 2 minutes and 15 seconds left to go, by the way, it'll be 3 laps left to go at the line, so still plenty of time to deal with, as there is a big old look down the inside from the number 1 of our race leader Gibbons, with 2 minutes left to go. There's the slide. So actually, again, it's just because of how quick they come around to it. So this will be starting the penultimate lap of the race. At the moment, it's dealt with the pressure of Joshua Law comfortably, and obviously some of the movement on the gap will be trying to get past the lap traffic, because you can see there all that traffic that Gibbons has been able to work his way past by the time he gets down into Copse. Law's going to have to deal with that on the exit of Copse, on the run down into this section here at Maggotts, then on the run on the Wellington straight into Brooklands, and that's where you're going to lose all of your time. So Gibbons probably more managing the gap rather than anything else at the moment at the front end of the field here in the Sports 2000 Championship. Looking for a victory in the number 1, looking to dominate once again, and is able to hold firm at the front of the field. Again, just really tricky for Law to try and work their way past that grouping behind and actually get through it cleanly, but I think it's bled probably more than a second this lap trying to get past that group of back markers. The number 1 will start the final lap of the race comfortably clear. There now at the front of that group is Law. And this group, by the way, is a battle at the back end, or just outside of the top 10, to be honest. It's Williams that's looking to the outside in the 88 car, trying to get past the 117 of Peach. You also have the 25 of Joshua Needham in that light blue car behind. This is all a fight for 12th position at the moment. So they are all fighting. That's why it's been such a struggle for Gibbons and Law to work their way through, because they're all focused so much on themselves. Only a few corners left to go though for Gibbons, and what has been a pretty exciting 25-minute race, to be honest. And Gibbons has been running away with it, has dominated, has got a 2.5 second lead at the moment over Joshua Law, and it looks like that is going to be brought all the way round to the checkered flag. Out through the final corner. And the victory here, the first one of the weekend at the Sports 2000 Championship here at Silverstone National, will go the way of the number 1 car, Michael Gibbons, on top here in the Sports 2000. A fantastic drive ahead of Joshua Law, and then a long wait back until we'll get Richard Johnson across the line. Those top 2 were absolutely phenomenal that race, just so far clear. The long wait continues before we get the 21 out of the final corner and across the line. That's just how far clear they were. Was it 20 odd seconds? Yeah, 21.7 seconds behind Law was Johnson, 23.9 seconds off of the race lead. Your winner overall then in the Duratec A category is Gibbons. In the Duratec DB category, it will be Traherne, which makes sense. It was comfortable in that position, obviously, throughout the race, but more so that is 6th position overall for Traherne. Then in the historic category, it was indeed the number 62 of Nick Johnson, who... Oh, no, actually, Weller did get back through. No, correction. I'm losing my mind on this spreadsheet. It is Nick Johnson who does win. I should commit to myself. Nick Johnson winning in the historic category as well, finishing 17th overall. Weller in 19th position, so 2nd in the category. And then it'll be the number 45 of Peter Needham being in 3rd position in the historic. So let's take a look at the order though. 2.1 seconds clear for victory was Gibbons. Then Joshua Law in the number 91 in 2nd position, with the number 21 of Richard Johnson in 3rd. That is your podium finishes. Then it's Tudor, then Cater, then Traherne, of course, the top of the Duratec DB category. Then Barwell, Horton, Ashley Law and Donnan. Fantastic fights back there towards the rear end of the top 10. Steve-O had a little bit of a calm run to the checkered flag, to be perfectly honest, it seemed. Before that fight between Peach Williams and the number 25 of Joshua Needham was keeping our attention for the final few laps of the race. The number 28 of Owen, then Johnson, then Eiley, then Weller, and then Ridge, of course. That 62 and 17th position, that is the winner of the historics, as far as I am aware, of course, all the results being provisional. Then it is the number 45 of Peter Needham, then Aldworth, then Fry, Nuaro, Tomasi, Clifton, Steeper, Cook, Floff and Stevenson, the top 30. But of course, we're not done yet. There's still one more. We did lose a couple before the race, but it was Butler who finished, or retired rather, from the race a little bit earlier on. Retirements for Floff, retirements for Stevenson, and retirements for Butler basically on the first lap of the race. Butler started the rear end of the Duratec category and then brought it back into the pit lane. What a fantastic race though. What a large amount of enjoyment. And what a great drive from Gibbons to take that victory by 2.1 seconds. Joshua Law behind and Johnson behind in 3rd. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been a fun race, and hopefully we'll see you again in the near future. Bye-bye.